and I'm calling this the Street Survivor Show because I spent a lot of time driving, a ton of time in the car, just cruising along, and it's a lot of boring time, honestly. It's once you get out of the city of Atlanta, it's traffic gets pretty light, and anyway, it's kind of boring. But anyway, I'm kind of just calling this the Street Survivor Show. And anyway, so it's kind of a show that's me talking about things that kind of rely, what's going on in the world, kind of tying it in with like a Bible viewpoint, a Christian viewpoint of the world and everything. And the first thing I was going to talk about after that pretty long introduction was the first time I ever worked for a politician. And years ago, I think that's probably maybe the mid-90s or something like that, and I was working for, I would consider myself as a Christian. I think I'm a conservative, not a Republican, but a conservative with kind of like a leaning towards maybe a little libertarian, like, leave me alone, I don't want the government telling me what to do all the time. So anyway, I was just getting involved in politics and everything, and I had the opportunity. I decided I would go to work for this kid who was running for House of Representatives in Georgia. My district was where Newt Gingrich was the man running. At that time, he was running for Speaker of the House. So if he won the race, he would win. Most likely, he would become the Speaker of the House. So I went out and was one of those guys that I went over to the local campaign office, and I got a bunch of signs and a list. And so I would go around to neighborhoods in the evening after I got off work, and I would put signs in people's yards. I would go and hammer them in based on people that wanted signs delivered to their house for Newt Gingrich. So that's what I would do, is I go over there and I would hammer those signs in and everything. And I do it at nighttime. I was like, yeah, I really like this guy, and I like what he stands for, and he's going to do all this great stuff. And anyway, so I did this for a while, number of time. Anyway, afterwards, Newt Gingrich, he won the election. So I had a friend of mine named Scott Russell, and Scott was helping me. He was helping do some of the stuff as well. So we got invited to the election night, to the where they watch the results come in, and then they have a big party once they win and everything like that. So I went over there and I was like, wow, man, I'm going to get a chance to meet this guy I've been working so hard for. Newt Gingrich, man, I can't wait, I can't wait. I'm going to meet Newt Gingrich and everything. And so anyway, I got there and I was recognizing all these people from Georgia politics, like other senators, other people and stuff like that. And I was like, oh, wow, there's Newt Gingrich, and there's Sean Hannity there. I know Sean Hannity at the time was not the big guy on Fox. He was he had like a local radio show. And so anyway, I remember Newt came up, and I was looking forward to meeting him, and I was going to shake his hand. I was so excited, And anyway, he comes up, and he shakes my hand, and I don't think he ever even knew who I was, never acknowledged me, I don't even think he looked at me, And that's fine. I understand it's a busy night and everything. But, the thing, it was a little bit disappointing to me, because I was like, oh, man, this is my hero, and I've been looking forward to work for him and everything like that. And now I look back at it, and I'm like, man, why you get so wound up about people, politicians, and that sort of stuff, And I kept thinking, there was a real point when politics just didn't cut it for you. I was not a believer back then. I was not Christian. But what I started to realize is that people will let you down, man, without a doubt. Even the people you absolutely love, that you put your trust in. I think that's why so many people get so upset with politicians, because that's kind of like the highest person they can vote for. There's their leader and everything. But a lot of times, I think you'd ask people on both sides of the aisle, like people that are Republicans or Democrats, and they're like, yeah, man, the people that I voted for, there's some stuff in my gut I don't really like about them. And they let me down, or, something like that. And that got to be thinking, man, why should I be putting my faith and trust in people that are going to let me down? Newt Gingrich didn't even recognized me, and I worked hard for that guy, And so I got to thinking, like, man, I'm not going to put my trust in people anymore. They're, they do wicked stuff, they do wicked deeds, and they do things that are wrong, like myself, I do stuff that's wrong. And so, anyway, what I started doing is I started saying, you know what, man, God doesn't ever forget me. He doesn't ignore me, and at least when you read the Bible, it doesn't seem like God seems to ignore us all. It seems like He loves us, and He treasures us, and we treasure Him. And so nowadays, it did come to me as a surprise. I see a lot of my friends that would be conservative. They get all their big fans of Trump and everything. And, I just don't put my faith in those people anymore, man. I'm going to just work for Christ wherever I can, because He's not going to let us down. He doesn't lie to us. He doesn't forget about us. He doesn't, He doesn't change His mind, whether we're His children or not, we never get let down by God, sometimes, our faith will waver or something like that, but God never lets us down. He's always there for us. We can always trust in Him, and He's always going to provide for us, and He loves us and takes care of us. So whenever you get hyped up, and I think we all get caught up in that, we all get caught up in like, oh yeah, man, this guy's going to change everything, Obama's going to come in and he's going to make everything great. I'm not going to have to pay for my gas no more, and I'm not going to have to, do all this stuff. And, man, what you ought to do is say, hey, listen, man, whatever he does, God's appointed him to lead us, we're supposed to pray for our leaders or whatever. And that's even the leaders we don't like, like if we don't like Trump or we don't like Obama. Or what about those people that were in, like, Nazi Germany? They were commanded to pray for Hitler or Stalin or something like that. Stalin was, Soviet Union. But, anyway, we're commanded to pray for them, and anyway, so, but I'm going to serve the King, I'm going to serve the King who's in charge of everything and is in control of everything. And so, thusly, I don't get let down. When I put my trust in the King of Kings, He never disappoints me, man, never lets me down. So, anyway, just some food for thought, man. Don't put your trust in men, put your trust in God, don't rely on men to bring you happiness. Rely on God to bring you happiness, All right, this is the Street Survivor, Chris Galloway, Road Dog, the man with his hand on I better have my hand on the steering wheel, my foot on the gas. God bless you, God keep you, and thanks for listening to me. God bless you.